Support for On the Table brought to you by Rock Realty, rock solid real estate.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to On the Table. I'm EB, and this is Pauly.
And we are On the Table, Season 2.
Back in action. Pauly, what's our first topic?
Well, first topic, unfortunately, today, our first topic is the terrible, terrible loss the Packers suffered to the Giants this past Sunday. What do we got? I mean, we could talk probably the whole show on things, negative things, unfortunately. I have never seen a team play so poorly. You know, you talk about a perfect storm. I think a perfect storm happened this past Sunday, where guys couldn't carry the ball, they couldn't catch the ball, they couldn't make timely plays, they couldn't make first downs. Defense couldn't stop third downs. You know, that reminded me of that game in Philadelphia a few years ago, 4th and 20-something. Third down, no matter how, it might as well have been a half a yard, might as well have been 50 yards.
Under Sherman, that was.
Who I guess I heard he's in the running for another head coaching job.
Well, they fired him from A&M, but then I don't know what happened.
No, now they were talking about him, and that's where we want to go with another Packer issue of an assistant coach. But overall, terrible, terrible defense. And it came up to bite them. They talked about all year. If the Packers' offense and Rodgers stumble at all, it's going to cost them a game. Yeah. It cost them 2 games, unfortunately. I think first 15 in one team, or first one-loss team to lose first round in the playoffs. I'm just sick thinking about that. I don't know what else you got to add on that, because we want to move on since it's a few days since.
Some key points on that. There was, I believe, 9 dropped passes.
9 dropped. How many turnovers?
There were 3 fumbles, 1 interception. So 4 total turnovers.
You sure?
But you had.
I'm sure there was only 3 fumbles.
3 fumbles.
Okay.
We had Rodgers, Grant, and what was the other one?
Well, Cobb fumbled. That was overturned. Somebody else fumbled.
Oh, Kuhn. Rodgers, Grant, and Kuhn.
And then the refs actually helped them out with the 1 fumble by Jennings that they never called, which led to 7 points, which the Packers shouldn't have had.
Oh, exactly.
What was the other blown call for the Packers that kept the thing close? It was it a fumble? Another fumble?
No, there was a few things on that. There wasn't a fumble though.
I've got
to look at my notes here. Yeah, well, just to be safe.
There was 2 specific things that led to the Packers scoring when they shouldn't have even had the ball. I know, obviously, we just touched on the Jennings fumble that should have been, that wasn't, and usually that who's that? The guru. Is that what we say? The football NFL guru.
There's a few of them.
No, the guy that Fox puts on there. If there's a disputed call, the guy's under the hood for extended amount of time.
Pereira.
Guy Pereira or Mike Pereira or whatever his name is.
Mike Pereira.
That's the first time that I can recall that he was on there actually disagreeing with the call of the referee, not being able to explain why he made that call. And obviously to us, and was it obvious to you that that was a fumble and I missed it? What would go through your mind as the ref? Because usually, from what I remember, I don't think they interview the refs on why they made this call or that call. They're kind of like inanimate objects, during the game or whatever. But and I do remember that there was a thing last year they talked about maybe even having baseball umps not be so immaterial, put more of a personality on the umpires, which I'm totally against. But what would be your rationale if you were whatever I don't remember it was Mike Levy was at the ref, immaterial, but what would be your reason why, if you were that ref, that you saw that play not being overturned as a fumble? Because that led to 7 points. It should have been 10-10 or 13-10 going into half, and then 7 points from that.
Yeah, I mean
What would you have seen?
Well, what old coaches used to tell us?
No.
Don't even make the game close. Then you don't have to worry about the refs. You don't have to worry about the umps.
Take it to them.
Take it to them.
And that's one of the reasons that led to Holmgren's departure, is that he became so conservative with having such good teams in big leads in fourth quarters, letting teams come back on him, sitting on the ball, not running your offense. So
Well, so that being said, what do you think about the coaching staff? How did they prepare them for that game?
Well, boy, that's a tough one. It's hard. It's really hard to come down on the coaches, even though you want to, right? Because we got to blame somebody. It's our team. We're perfect. Our team's perfect, and as close as you can be to football perfection. This was the year for us.
It was.
But losing
best year ever for the Packers.
Well, now it's going to be a cliff note, isn't it? Not even going to be a footnote.
Best regular season. Let me rephrase that. Best regular season.
But when they had that tragedy with their offensive coordinator, sometimes tragedy brings out greatness in players. You're playing for it's bigger than a game. You're playing for something other than football. There's a cause that you're going for.
We've seen that with Favre.
Oh yeah, Favre.
When his dad passed
first
away.
half at Oakland Monday night, huge. I really thought, I saw emotion out of Rodgers because of Feldman's son passing, and I saw total emotion out of Mike McCarthy that I had never seen in a press conference before. Jermichael Finley tweeting, for example, Sunday morning, you came across the ticker, on pregame, that hey, I'm playing today. I'm playing this one for Coach Feldman, and thinking this could be a blowout. Being the Packers could take it to them, and it could be over in the first quarter, kind of thing. But it was the exact opposite. Obviously, they weren't focused. Everything went wrong, and the thing is, you've heard the saying, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Well, they were asleep at the wheel, and that brings up something specific. Did you see Woodson make a tackle, let alone be?
No, he didn't.
Was he anywhere near a tackle?
He didn't wrap anyone up.
I mean, he had a great view from the game. I mean, he might as well have been standing there like this, because the few times I did see him in a shot of a tackle, he was swatting at the ball like he was, I don't know, playing a ping pong or something. So I literally thought he was playing flag football, going like this, swatting at balls like that.
It was a lot of shoulder bumps. The first thing they tell you in football is wrap the guy up. If you can't make the tackle, your friends are going to be there soon. But it's like that doesn't apply in the NFL with the DBs.
Well, and that's exactly what they said on that touchdown, that long touchdown, and I think in the first half. One of these shoulder things, was it Pepper or somebody? I don't want to say it if it wasn't him, but somebody throwing their shoulder at him instead of wrapping up, that kind of thing. But where's Woodson? Where was Woodson? The whole game. I think I saw him almost come up with a fumble or an interception once or twice, a long pass. But other than that, I kept saying, there's no Woodson. There's no Woodson on that tackle. Oh, where's Woodson on that ball? Why? Where's Woodson on this play? And then it's like, is Woodson even in the open, the wide lens shot? No. I mean, those were those third downs where Woodson was 10 yards away, 5 yards away. 1 yard in football is an open guy. That's 3 feet. Woodson was 5 to 10 yards every time I saw him from somebody.
What was McCarthy doing on the sidelines? We didn't see a lot of him. I couldn't really see his reactions a lot. Yeah,
well, I don't know. What do you say? I know the guy, like I said, they were all going through a lot of stuff, but I really, really would have thought that they would have, when tragedy happens in anybody's life, you go back to work, you go back to what you do. I mean, their job is football. You go back to work, it helps you cope, it helps you get through it. So if I was them, I would have thought that I would have been able to play extra hard, and better. You're playing for a purpose, Well, you're playing for a purpose anyway, but you understand that. The only other thing I want to mention about, we talked a second about possible coaching positions, and I posted this on Facebook, and I don't post stuff on Facebook that much, but my goodness, Dom Capers, the defensive coordinator, last year he was this genius because, they had an average defense, but they had turnovers, and obviously when you win the Super Bowl, you're going to be looked at as, hey, look at how good they are. And the defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, head coach, they're geniuses. And, when the Packers, by mid-season, were basically the worst defense in the NFL, wouldn't it be time to say, hey, change it up, start doing something different? I mean, we've got the personnel we've got, so we got to do something with them.
Well, when they did throw in the blitzes, they knew the blitzes were coming.
They picked up almost every
blitz. They weren't able to hide them.
But the thing is, and that a huge risk blitzing with the Packers defense, because if you're going to allow man-to-man, it's bad. Our defense, the secondary is bad enough as it is, right? So, they're rushing 3 guys. Okay, I understand that because back 2 guys up and have more coverage, even a double coverage if it's a zone and a help out or whatever. But I got to the point where I thought, why not have a zero rush or a one-man rush? Gee whiz, maybe if we have two guys in every receiver, they could cover somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
But then maybe Woodson would, maybe he'd just sit down and cross his legs in the middle of the field, and then they still wouldn't have any help. But really, I mean, if you have a three-man rush, which, I mean, that was terrible. That's like in a prevent defensive three-man rush. Would you have agreed to do a two-man rush or one-man ruch? Because Peyton had, Eli had all the time he wanted anyway.
You never see it in the NFL.
Well, I know, because Eli had all the time he wanted, no matter, even if they were blitzing six guys, is what it is, really. Yep. He had all the time in the world for that, so why not just rush nobody and have everybody cover a receiver, you know? But the other thing, this Dom Capers thing, I heard his name mentioned twice last week for a head coaching job. And I thought that he should have been canned in the middle of the season.
He did do okay, though, with the Panthers. Remember, he took them to the championship game against the Packers.
Well, I get that, but
96.
But what's happened, now? I mean,
but then he was the Texans coach as well.
Yeah, he
was
with
the first Texans coach.
Expansion was at 93 and another 95.
Didn't do well there.
Well, but I guess the point is here now is that as bad of a defensive coach that he is, or he was. I mean, maybe he started off pretty good, last year, but to mention him as a head coach when he was, that was sick. Yeah. This whole every week you're worried that as good as the team was, you're worried that is this the week, and finally it happened at KC. What was it? 2 out of the last 3 games that they lost, or 2 out of the last 4?
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
well you look come the new year.
Yeah.
In coaching, you're going to see there's going to be about 5 guys you can't even recognize their names. You'll be like, where did he come from?
Well,
oh, he was the 3rd-string wide receivers coach.
Right.
Now we made him a head coach.
Well,
and it has nothing to do with black or white.
Well, we could talk about how many different players that we think
come out of nowhere. They come out of nowhere to be an NFL coach.
So Michael Finley, I mean, was he about the biggest disappointment in the year, do you think?
Jermichael missed quite a few balls.
I'm telling you, over the course of the season,
he caught the difficult ones, and then he couldn't catch the easy ones.
Yeah, you got to give props, I think, to Donnie Driver. He pretty much, I thought, at one point was carrying the whole team on his back.
Donnie
had
catches 2 huge
down the road,
third-down catches.
Later in the game, right? And the touchdown at the end, the last one they had. But to go and get your butts kicked at home, oh, man. I mean, and I listened to ESPN radio. I had to listen to a little bit of it at the end and kind of get the vibe of the people. Obviously, it was the same as ours. It was the blame game, the team, the defense. Every player was mentioned kind of as being terrible. The coaching staff wasn't prepared, blah, 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 blah. But, just to not only get beat at home at Lambeau, but get your hind ends kicked. I mean, they got kicked.
Exactly.
And the thing is that the Giants were bragging about it, guaranteeing wins beforehand. And, of course, it's the New York Giants. It's the New York market. It's the biggest market in the country. So everybody, every talk show, every sports show, everything was all about, oh, the Giants are going to do it. Oh, the Giants this, the Giants that. Because they're going to go into Lambeau.
That's what really made me upset.
Yeah.
On ESPN, all they were talking about, they were showing how to beat the Packers, how to beat Denver.
That's something we should talk about.
I didn't see anything about how to beat the Giants, how to beat the Niners, how to beat the Saints. It was how to beat the Packers and how to beat Denver.
Right. Well,
I mean, is the whole country against Tebow?
Well, no, I think
we know they're not because of the numbers.
Well, see, and there you have there's this thing in society.
Or are all the sportscasters against him?
No, there's a thing called the silent majority. And the unsilent minority, the vocal minority, which is always the people that are in the minority of an opinion speaking the loudest, because the national media has always been against traditional Americans, people like us in the Midwest, the flyover country and our values and everything else. So this guy right here, obviously not everybody's against him, because the people that there's going to be people that want to see him fail, so they're going to watch.
Yeah, the bar we were at, everyone loved him.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, when you have the highest ratings of any playoff game in the history of the NFL, I would have to say, and I hope we can assume correctly, that most of those people are watching to see him, whether they want to see just him, maybe some women want to see him, maybe guys or anybody for that matter just want to see what is this Tebow thing about that aren't even football fans, and then there's the football fans, and I would assume most of them.
He's just a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a great athlete.
Well, and he's a man of faith and everything. So people, I would think that's what America, traditional America, is all about. Is exactly what everything he stands for. So that's why
we can't get into our politics, but
well, we can do whatever we want.
Are these people against him because he's a Christian?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And
well, that's just terrible.
That goes hand in hand with people who think, oh, if you're Christian, you're a Republican, or people are this and that kind of thing.
So if you're atheist, you're a Democrat.
Most people are. But I would even take it to the religious thing. I would think that because of that, there's this divide of red and blue states, Republican, Democrat. And it's a political. Unfortunately, this is a political thing, and it should be just football. But unfortunately, people that want to see him fail are the people that are against his moral, views and his views as a person. So, and those people, for whatever reason, and why we're talking about Republicans and Democrats again, but most of the people against him are Democrats.
Weren't we supposed to be done with that on the political side?
We got leeway if we need to talk, because it is 2012, by the way. This is going to be a big year. Summer Olympics in London. We're going to
get out to vote.
We're going to be electing a new president in November. It's going to be a good year.
Back to sports.
So anyway, yeah, if it's all right with you, I'd like to move on away from the Packers, because it's just
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I know we got something coming up this week, which is going to be it was big news around Wisconsin and baseball, Major League Baseball, the big thing with Braun we got coming up.
Oh yes.
Of course, everybody's familiar with that. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk Braun, MVP, and the award and what is going to be coming of his steroid test.
And also I got to get my picks in.
We're going to get the picks in on the third segment, so we'll be back.
Watch On the Table and other JATV programming live streaming over the internet at jatv.org.
Here we are back after a mid-production meeting. Anyways, what we want to talk about now, Pauly, is Ryan Braun.
He's the man.
He's accepting his award this Saturday, and this is going to be the first time he's talked in 2 months, roughly.
October-ish, right after the playoffs.
November, I believe.
November, yeah. When he knew that he tested positive when he accepted they told, the media said that he won the award, right? Because they interviewed him, I believe, at his house in Milwaukee, right? Remember the lake was in the background? Was that in Milwaukee?
Something, it must have been.
Well, I know the lake was in the background. I just couldn't see on my TV. They start putting fonts so small.
Other than that, he hasn't said a word.
Right. But yeah, he seemed very confident a couple months back.
He still
that
is
he would be
confident.
Vindicated of the charges. What could that be? Me not being a doctor, what could those elevated levels of testosterone?
You know what it was.
No,
or
I don't know.
what speculation
Well, how
is,
could it,
is
but it's steroids. I mean, what could cause that to be so spiked like that?
The speculation was herpes cream.
Really?
Now,
I didn't know that.
yeah, that's the speculation. He
oh boy, on his lips or what?
Yeah, and then talking to a few people in Milwaukee, they think they know Braun or see Braun out or whatnot, and
At his place in Lake Geneva?
actually said that he may have a few lady friends.
But are you serious that it's something to do with that
Yes.
elevated it?
Yes.
And it was a urine sample that they took, or
Well,
blood, or what?
you rubbed apparently from what was it our friend who told us about that?
I probably was.
You rubbed the herpes cream on your lips, I believe. Or wherever he had
I'm
to
saying
rub,
wherever they do
he had
it.
to rub herpes cream, so then it goes through your bloodstream.
And then he did the urine sample.
And again, I believe told me about this.
But but I'm saying there has to have been some natural, some medication or something that causes or testosterone is what it is.
Yeah, I am not a doctor.
Yeah, well, that's what steroids do with your testosterone.
I
It's the
play
same
one
thing.
on this show sometimes.
Yeah, we play a doctor on TV. But won't that be more embarrassing? I mean, it wouldn't hurt your career, but it'd be more embarrassing.
If it clears your record,
Yeah, it clears your baseball record.
You got to come clean.
But boy, when people see you out and they know that kind of thing, they're going to be like, shh, you know what I mean?
We've all been in trouble before, and we had to come clean and just tell the truth.
Yeah, but that stuff doesn't go away, though, so he's going to have a problem for life,
Keep it like luggage. Eddie Murphy said that.
Yeah, he did. Well, if that's the case, then, Braun will be the MVP. Maybe we'll still look at him in a little different light, but...
He still swings the bat the same, and I really don't think he gained any power on that.
I really don't. You can tell somebody that's on steroids, like a Barry Bonds going from 1991. With
Barry Bonds was on steroids?
well, could you tell 1991 was half my size, and by the year 2000,
He was
2001,
my
he
size
was bigger
with-
than you, and his
with
face
height.
was about this big.
He had height, though, too.
Well, he was. What,
I've got
6'2"?
girth, he had height.
Well, you could tell with everybody, Giambi and his face. I mean, Clemens and their
Yep,
face. You know, they
yep.
just get big. And you're telling me Roger Clemens at what 45 years old can throw 95 miles an hour? You know, when he's pitching in 2001.
Nolan
World Series?
Ryan could.
Well, Nolan Ryan. You know, you get freaks of nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some guys that are just going to defy the laws of not gravity, but I don't want to use the word evolution because I don't
Yeah.
believe in that. But you know, evolving into a player. You know what
Well,
I mean?
it's more growth hormones in the milk.
Well, it's something.
Every food we eat.
You know, every once in a while there comes a time where there's a guy or a girl that just is a super athlete. That just you can't explain it. You can go in the weight room every day. These guys do. You can eat right, train right, do whatever. You know, and you're just not gonna.
So
what
Braun,
some people do.
innocent or guilty?
Boy, it's going to be interesting. That's going to be a good one for people to see, and it's going to be a good one for us to comment on after the fact next week when we see what really
What's
happens.
your vote?
Based on his persona, based on his confidence that I think he exudes when he, at least when he originally talked about it, and you said that the comment was that he told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel this was BS.
Actually, it was USA Today.
Oh, USA Today.
His quote is, he said it's BS.
So with that, saying that much and going that far, I would think that, I'm going to say, flip a coin, 75% says he's going to get the award and be okay. What do you say?
I'm going to say he's innocent. I know he did not inject steroids in his bum. I know he didn't have any fake creams other than, you know, might have been some type of herpes cream. Who knows? So he's only guilty of hanging out with the wrong women.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay. Well, so let's, final segment. We've got 2 games this weekend, NFL games. Unfortunately, it won't be our team.
Yeah.
I may not watch, but well, let's give us some.
We
let's
got to
get some
watch
picks.
them. All right, what we've got is...
Give us the Vegas line.
First of all, let's get to the Giants, yeah.
Yeah, give us the Vegas line on both of them, and then just give us a straight-up pick if you want, or give us something with the
Gotcha.
handicap.
All right.
Handicap them.
Giants are at the 49ers. The line is 49ers favored 2.5, minus 2.5.
49ers giving up 2.5
Exactly.
at home. You know, you always get 3 points in the NFL for home, so basically it's a pick 'em.
They're a half-a-point underdog on a neutral
on the
site.
road. On the road, yeah. But
Well,
they're
I would like to pick the Giants as a betting man.
you got to pick for the non-Vegas crowd, which is the lay people. Most people would just want to know.
I'm going to pick with the Giants because
Giants
the
will
media just keeps pushing it.
Giants will win, and I don't think the weather will be an issue because I guess I'm going to have to brag the Giants up here. They play in weather that's not always that great. They play outside at least. We'll give them that. And who knows what the weather will be like. Usually San Francisco Bay Area, mid-50s around this time of year, pretty much all year. Probably
Yeah.
some fog, a little wind, little rain. It probably isn't going to help either team. So I want San Francisco to win. My heart tells me that they probably are going to win. Unfortunately, I think the Giants might be in a streak like the Packers were, where things are just going to go right. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to pick the 49ers. So you've got you've got New York. I've got San Francisco.
Exactly.
We got one more real quick.
Well, then the next game that leads me up to this one.
Real quick.
We've got New England. It's Baltimore Ravens at New England.
Who do you got?
New England is favored 7.5.
Who are you taking?
On that one, I'm going to go New England.
I'm going Baltimore because I hate Tom Brady and I hate New England. They've had their fire in the beginning of the last decade, and I'm sick of seeing
But
them.
if you're trying to help the viewers make some money,
well,
the media wants a New England Giants replay.
because of the Northeast.
Now,
The Northeast,
however, that being said,
you know where they can take that. The Northeast can take their stuff.
if the
and everything.
Niners win, then I believe the Ravens win, or vice versa. If the Ravens win, I believe the Niners win.
Well,
because then they want an all Harbaugh Super Bowl.
Let's have the 49ers in Baltimore have those guys play each other as if they haven't had enough media coverage already. They've already played once, and it was like the world was coming to the end because the Harbaughs were playing each other. Whoop-de-doo. All right, so
Exactly. Well, that was a boring game on Thanksgiving.
Well, good first show, second season. We want to have a shout out to our first sponsor, which is Rock Realty.
Rock Realty.
Here in the Rock County, Janesville area, courtesy of Mike Collins. We appreciate the sponsorship, Mike, and look forward to working with you. We are off the table.
Off the table.
Take a lot of reckoning, but you can't take it all.